Hello, my love. Thank you so much for ordering this, for giving me the honour of doing this for you. I'm dead excited. I love doing these readings, so thank you for trusting me with this and for asking me to do this for you. I apologise, it's taken me a little while to get yours to you. I think the day you ordered or the day after you ordered, I sort of slid into that pre-bleed cave. A bit like this. So I'm only just out of it now. So I'm sorry it's taken me a little while, but I firmly believe these things happen when they're meant to, and I hope you're feeling all right. Yolandi said you've been feeling poorly, so I hope you're doing all right. I also just want to add another little precursor before I start, which is that today I shipped Callie, my dog, off to my parents' house so it'd be quiet to do some readings, and then the council grass cutting men turned up. So I've tested the sound a couple of times. It sounds like it's okay at the moment, but if it does get too loud while we're going, if you can't hear anything, or if it's too annoying, just let me know and I'll fiddle about with the background noise, or I'll transcribe or whatever we need to do so that you can hear what's being said, because they always turn up at the wrong time, don't they? So with that said, let me tell you what you can expect. So this is, as you will see, the first of 2 videos. This one's going to be a channeling video. So basically, we'll get started in a moment with a bit of a meditation. Now, this is very, very similar to the meditation you've already done. And thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that, by the way. It's really just the same from my end. So this is about me connecting into your energies. I will talk through it as though we're doing this together, but it's completely up to you whether you want to do it with me, which is totally cool, or if you'd rather just have it playing in the background while you're like pottering about, making tea, whatever, that's cool too. Equally, if you want to fast forward through it, you don't have to sit through this again. So if you want to fast forward through it, it'll be like, probably about 10 minutes. Feel free to fast forward. When I'm done with the meditation, I usually do that. So when you see my head drop, that's usually the point to press play. With the channeling side of things, what I do is I open up, I call in all of our guides and stuff, I call in protection, and then I step to one side. So what that means is twofold. Good side of things is that whoever needs to talk to you gets to talk to you kind of unfiltered, so they don't have me translate and they just say what they need to say, which is really cool. It does mean sometimes that I make funny faces or speak in funny voices, so I'm going to apologise for that up front. Downside of it is I don't have as much control over what's being said. So if there is a noise outside, I'll generally just keep going because I don't hear it. It means I don't remember what I'm saying either. It's almost like I liken it to sitting on a bus and hearing someone have a conversation in front of you, but maybe you're reading your book and so you don't fully hear what's being said. It's a bit like that. There's bits I remember, there's bits I won't. So kind of bear that in mind. So that will be this one. I will do that. I'll talk for about 30 minutes. I say that these videos are always longer than 30 minutes, but I'll try not to talk too long. I do have a timer set so that I don't go on for hours and hours, because that did happen initially. Then I'll get to the end of that one. I'll come out of it, stop the video, have a bit of a drink, come back, and your second video will be a bit more like this. It'll just be me talking to you. It'll be more of me telling you what I'm seeing and hearing and experiencing. So we'll give it a go. We'll see what comes through. I think that's everything. I think that's all I have to tell you. So I'll take off my glasses because for some reason I can't channel with my glasses. So I invite you, if you'd like to fast forward now, now's your time. If you'd like to join me in the meditation, I just invite you to close your eyes. And I'm going to start by calling out to my guides, my helpers, to my protectors. And I ask those protectors to surround us both with a beautiful golden light of love and protection, so that only those who come with the highest of intentions can step forward and work in, with and through me. I call out now to my guides, my helpers, my teachers, my inspirers and my messengers. I call to the gatekeepers that stand between me and the realms of spirit and soul, and I ask them to step aside, to bring down those bridges and allow all those who need to work with you, who come with those highest intentions, to step forward and work in, with and through me. And I invite you and I to take just a few deep breaths in, hold and out, and hold. Breathe in that fresh, clean, beautiful air. Feel it filling and nourishing, supporting you. Hold in that place of fullness, feeling that air buzz around your body. and release. Releasing any pain, any tension, any stress, any negativity. Hold again. And then take one more big deep breath in. Filling yourself right up with that fullness and loveliness and new energy. Holding it, holding it, holding it. And release. Letting go of anything that we don't need for this next little while. And I invite you to breathe steadily in whatever rhythm or pace feels right to you. And as you do, just imagine that door opening at your causal chakra at the back of your skull. Place where your skull meets your neck. See that door opening and that root of golden white light moving outwards and down your spine. And as it moves down, see that root becoming brighter and brighter and broader with every vertebrae it passes. Moving all the way down your spine. All the way down until it reaches the very base of your spine at your root chakra and bursts out. And as it bursts out of that place, see it becoming bigger and broader and brighter still until this root is as wide as your whole physical body. As wide as your whole energetic body as it moves through the chair or the bed beneath you, through the floor of the room that you're in, through the rest of the house and the foundations of the building. See and feel that root moving down through the soil and the stone, down through the rivers and the streams below the earth's surface, down through the caverns and the caves of the inner earth. See it moving down into and through the ring of fire that surrounds the heart of Gaia, and see it moving into that crystal heart of our planet, that crystal heart of Mother Gaia, at the centre of which there is that beautiful tree comprised of gorgeous golden white light. And as your root moves towards that tree, see her roots open up, stretch out, welcome you, invite you forward. And as we move towards that tree, I just ask that for this time, while we connect with the roots of Mother Gaia, our roots be allowed to connect too. That I may be able to connect to your energy field, to your soul and its support team to carry forward the perfect messages for you. And so feel that root at the tree of Gaia, stretch out and connect with yours, intertwining with your root, and feel mine do the same, all three connecting together. And as we connect, feel that energy of Gaia buzz straight back up through all the layers of the planet, all the way back up into your root and then back up into your physical body. Feel that Gaia energy begin to flow through and around your body, filling you up with that nourishing, loving, supportive energy of Mother Gaia. And sit in that space for just a while. And as we do, see another door open at your solar plexus and see a beam of light, that same golden white light, begin to move upwards. Up through your stomach, through your chest, up through your shoulders, your neck, your head. And as that light moves out of your crown chakra, again see it expand outwards, broader and broader, brighter and brighter, until it's as wide as your entire energy body and moving upwards, beaming upwards through the ceiling of the house, of the room that you're in, through the rest of the house, through the roof, up through the air above you, up through the clouds, into the sky, up through all of the layers of Earth's atmosphere, out into space, and then up through those stars, those planets, all the way up through space until it reaches a point where that root of yours, that beaming energy of yours, breaks out of the darkness of space out into a place of perfect light. Perfect, pure, golden light, perfect peace, perfect love, perfect safety. And as your beam of light breaks out into that place, feel it plug into this place, into source, the home of all that there is, the very center of all that there is, and feel that source energy, the wisdom, the power, the faith, the truth and the love. Feel it flow all the way back down through all the layers of the sky, through the ceiling, all the way back down into your crown and all the way through your body. Glorious golden white light, filled now with source energy that flows around your body. and sit not only in that source energy, but also in that place of the source and Gaia energy connecting with one another, of that sacred marriage of divine feminine and divine masculine, of source and Gaia, of nature and spirit, flowing in, through and around you, and of yourself as the beautiful, powerful, sacred container for that sacred marriage. And as we sit in that energy, we send out another connection, another grounding cord out from your sacral center, out fast and as straight and as true as an arrow, out through the center of the earth, out into the stars, through the stars, moving so fast, it moves through the stars and just out into the darkness of the cosmos, out into a place of pure and perfect darkness where all that's there is just that all enveloping, that safe darkness that is flecked every now and again with the slightest little dances of golden light. And this here is the cosmic center, the place where all things are possible but nothing is yet tangible. And as your connection plugs in there, you feel that cosmic energy, that possibility, that potential begin to flow all the way back through and into you. You feel anything that's been stuck within you, anything that's felt stayed, anything that seemed to have ground to a halt begin to flow out of you and flow back to the cosmos. And the cosmos sends it back renewed, refreshed, inspired, and ready to be reborn as something wonderful. And I'm going to send out one more beam of light. So I ask you to draw your attention to your third eye, and we send out a beam of golden light up out into the sun. And as that beam of your golden light reaches the sun, we send it through the sun, out into the great central sun, which is said to be the life force for our entire universe. And as that beam of ours reaches the great central sun and plugs in there, we feel that vitality, that life force, that illumination flow all the way back through, all the way back into us, all the way back into our third eyes, and all the way back into our bodies. And here we sit connected to Source, Gaia, Cosmos, and the great central sun. And with that, I ask, in the name of all four of those things, by divine decree, for this to be the perfect channeling and reading for you, beautiful, wonderful Lameze. I ask this in the name of Source, Gaia, Cosmos, and the great central sun. So it is. It is done. And now I call out to your guides, your helpers, your teachers and inspirers. I call to your ancestors of blood, of soul, and of stars. I call to your gatekeepers. I call to all of those who come to us from your soul support team with the highest of intentions, and I ask them to step forward, to work in me, with me, and through me, to share their wisdom, their connection, their insights with you via me now. And as I do, I call out to the east and to the air, to the south and to the fire, to the west and to the water, to the north and to the earth, and to the ether, the soul, and the centre. I cast a circle, a globe around all of us of pure protection, so that only those with the highest intention may exist within here and work within here. It's done. For you are she, born to howl at the moon. To do so has become of late a fashion, something that is called upon and called in by those tired of living within the bounds and constraints of a society determined to keep them subject. You recognize such societies. You have indeed recognized your own place within them, and have long now decreed that you will step outside of the bounds of those trappings, that you will live that life of liberation which so many now see as fashionable. Are you ready to take the next step? For there are yet more steps to be taken. What would it be to throw back your head and howl at the sky, at the stars, at the moon? There are those who believe that the howling at the moon must come at the time that the moon is full, pregnant with possibility and potency. I understand this. The full moon is a powerful mistress. But I ask you to do differently. I ask you what it would be for you to howl when the moon is dark. To howl by the light of the stars and the stars alone. For the time when the moon is dark is often the time when so much can go unseen, unsaid, unheard. So much can fly under the radar. For there is no one looking. For many are tucked within their own beds. Many even of those true wild ones are tucked away, hiding with no light to guide them. You have long come to recognize this light of the moon is not what you need in order to guide yourself. You have long come to recognize that the light of guidance for you exists within. There is a connection ongoing, the connection that brings the light and the energy of the stars directly down to this earth. This is something that throughout history humans have recognized, worked with, many have studied. The studying is, if you wish, something you may wish to pursue. However, what you are drawn to, what I ask you to bear in mind at this time, as you stand there howling and calling to the dark sky under the darkest of moons, is the ways in which you see the energy of those stars coming down to the earth. Is the strings of those stars and how they connect to this planet of Earth. Your energy is a powerfully grounded one, grounded in everything that you do. You hold the energy of Mother Gaia within your hands, within your body. You yourself a personification of her strength, her surety. I say this not to overburden you, not to cause you to feel overwhelmed, but to remind you of your power, and more so still, to thank you for all that you do hold and ground upon this earth. And now I ask you to ground the stars. A small request, no? Yet, this also is not so perilous and burdensome as it would seem. The stars, they are already grounding. Your job, should you wish to follow through, is to stand with arms outstretched and watch them. Allow those energies to fall, allow those energies to move together. Walk amongst them, dance amongst them if you will. Recognize the power that is being carried through each and every one of those connections. Gather together the wisdom and the insight that moves in them. And then share that wisdom as you will, as you wish. You may or may not recall the lives spent studying both the stars and the earth. There have been many. Now your task is to recognize the connection between the two. It is this that will give you the wisdom you need in order to move forwards. This that will give you the insight that will help you to see the next step and the step beyond and the step beyond. Do you recall the line from the film of the childhood years? The second star to the right. Straight on to morning and to the coming true of dreams. The second star to the right will not take you to morning, nor will it take you to dream fulfillment in every sense, but by recognizing those stars, following those stars, it will take you forward to the next step. It will shine a light, a beautiful golden light, onto that which we have been trying to tell you, that which does not have words in the human lexicon, yet has feelings within the soul, within the self, which can be interpreted by the body, if only we can detach from this human self long enough to stare at the stars and remember our cosmic beginnings. Do you remember your cosmic beginnings? Or more, do you remember what came thereafter? The choices you made to come here to earth, not only at this time, but throughout so much of time. When you have acted for so many as a safe harbour in times of peril, of fear, of disaster. During the interplanetary wars that existed so soon before the dawn of Earth's human belongings, beginnings, you were one who took in many of those who needed your help. It has often been said that if the idea of the angel were to be personified, it would be in the souls of those who offer safe harbour to those who would otherwise be left to die. With that in mind, believe that we are giving you your angel's wings. Not in a sense that must be ruled over, decreed by a higher power, but in a sense of the selflessness with which you have loved the world, the worlds, and their beings for so many lifetimes prior to this. There is a strength in you, a power in you which continues to support this. And as you see the energies coming down to earth, consider yourself doing the same. Seeing those energies, holding space for their transitions, recognizing the places in which the energies may need to be joined alongside with one another. Sewn up together, the reparations made. You are My friend, a unique being. A unique being in your heart and soul, but a unique being also in your abilities with this mending, this darning of the connection. Never forget that. And know that even if consciously you decide not to do this, know that this will continue to go on in your sleep. We will, however, refrain from taking you on such missions at any time you are too tired. Please tell us if such missions are not appropriate for you. But otherwise, know that we see you. We thank you. We honour you. I come to you with this insight from a realm that is beyond any which the human species has found capacity for yet, has found awareness of yet. We have passed through the gateways that your humans are aware of, and yet we come from much further afield, from stars you have not yet seen or recognised, from worlds you have not yet considered. But you recall this, my friend. You recall this, for you recall your earliest days with us in this place. The earliest days before you chose to come through to this galaxy, to come through to this world. More will come there for those with the hearts that are filled with the divine loving essence. But for now, I thank you. I thank you and wish you well in your pursuits, and look forward to continuing to work with you. Do you recall the first of your incarnations upon earth as is known now? After the times of the falls that have gone before, and into the time of the first recorded humans of old. Do you recall the ways in which the earth moved across your skin, allowing you, as you repaid the favour, to mark that earth, that skin? Do you recall the ways in which your fingers would paint the symbolism to be found many, many generations future? This was a time of the most wild stories and legends, those that even today do not all have words to share them. I ask you now, as we move forward into a new dawn, to pick back up the implements of mark making, no longer on the walls of a cave, but to draw once again. Draw in the most simple form. Create in the most simple form. There is a beauty to flow through you. But more than that, there is an understanding. There is a part of your soul at this time which is crying for its story to be heard. There is so much calling to be heard. The stories that have been and those that are yet to come. Do you recall those early days? If so, you may remember the realization that upon this earth, nothing happens in isolation. Each incident, each story happens after and because of another. Happens before and resulting in another. You are asked now to revisit those stories, to revisit them in an artistic manner, but also to revisit them with the logical brain, the stories within your own life, what has led you to your current place and to what is yet to come, but the stories in the world around you also. Know that you are not requested ever to change your past. You are not requested ever to make a decision about your future which is not the one you want. But know also that as we look to the future, there cannot help but be tales of the new, of that which is being formed by decisions made now, of that which we can understand more deeply and more greatly by considering what has been. The land that exists beneath you is important, critical, in fact, for what is about to happen on this earth, for what will go on to happen thereafter. It is not a coincidence that you are drawn to particular areas as you are. Do you know of your ability to read those areas? Of land and of the landscapes that surround them, to place your hand upon the land, in the water, on the trees, into the air, and simply ask. The pictures that we send through to you through your own creations, but also simply through your mind, they are the truths that need to be spoken. You have such an ability to communicate with the land around you, to act as a bridge, act as a medium yourself, in fact, for nature, for the world. Do not belittle such a gift. Do not cast aside or forget such a gift. Recognize the power in it. Recognize the change it could bring. Recognize yourself for who you have been before, for who you are now, and for who you will be in a future to come. There is much to share from this land of yours. Much that is needed in order for that land to shift, to fall into place. You are its hands, its mouthpiece. Never forget that, or the power of it. My name is Balthazar. I was once of the highest priests, having travelled many lands, having travelled for many, many years, having gained my wisdom in many a Christian school. I became known as part of that Christian faith, did I not? Yet, in truth, the faith that I represent, the ways that I represent, they came long, long before that faith. The faith that I am rooted in, the Christ that I speak of, is not the man, the boy that is so well known, but is the light, the energy of which he represents. I must recall for and to you what we knew of before his time, before this time, before those days. We knew of an internal compass that could guide us forwards no matter what. We knew of the ways in which each and every one were able to connect with a divine sense of purpose within them. The ways that each and every one were able to recognize themselves as the piece of divinity that the world is missing. For this is true that every human and every being on the earth at any given time contains within them, contains around them, is through the very nature of their being a piece of divinity, a fragment of divinity so unique to themselves that the world could not continue in the ways in which are meant and required without first this piece of divinity being made manifest within the individual. As Balthazar, this is what I taught. As Balthazar, I taught the consciousness of the Christed ones could be consciousness held within all of us. I taught within the schools of what would later be called Christianity long before he who would be known as Christ. In fact, I argued that never should there be one known as Christ, all should be known as Christ. And I continue to teach today on the etheric planes as that which was once known as Christian has become very different, has become contorted, shrunk, changed. I set out at one time in my life across the desert plains. It was intended a mission to connect more fully with the wisdom that can only be found when the world around is quiet, and also to teach to more disparate people, populations. I learned much. I gained much. Yet, in doing so, I found that these travels, all of these travels, they only ever took me back to myself, to a deeper part of myself, for that is where the Christ light, the light of the Christ consciousness, can always be found. I bring to you a gift, as I once did to that Christed one, a gift that is the precious scents. Watch for them, smell for them, pay attention to them on the air around you. Know that as you enter into the space, as you move forward into the space of bringing all of your own wisdom together, of presenting it forward in the world, I bring with you the scents you will smell. The sense that will touch into your mind and your body, even as they seem to be invisible to all others. You know me as having travelled with friends. And I must tell you at this time that your friends are vital to you. There are three. Three who may come together as a result of your own ministrations, but who were in themselves individuals, separate from one another, joined largely by yourself. Know that as you come together with them, one-to-one or in a group, know that you bring together unique gifts, and that it is you as the holder of this space, as the holder of this movement, who does such a thing. Know that my own travels alongside others were such travels carried out not wholly in pilgrimage, but also to combine, to gather together, to alchemize, to allow the power and the beauty of more than one to move forward and to ask where this will lead us. And so, in so doing, I invite you to remember the power in yourself and also the power in your collective. Bring together your group, bring together your collective. Allow them to support you. Allow them to support you as you support them, and watch what will bloom as a result of this. Watch what will bloom. Watch yourself as you spiral into a new perspective on life, on all around you, as you move into the dance that is this glorious interaction with all around you. That is the recognition of that Christed and divine part within you. I move along now, for there is much to be found and said in this regard within contemplation. And for me, the spoken word is challenging at times to profess. There is a silence, there is a beauty to be found in the silence and the golden times of connecting inwardly with the divine spark, the divine aspect. Allow me to step back. There is one other who wishes to step forth. do not know me. Your people no longer know me, but allow me to introduce myself, for I am goddess of the fire. I am the keeper of the first fires of this earth, the keeper of the first fires from which all clay was moulded, all humans were created, and all light was sparked. Why do I come to you? Why do I speak with you? Because I wish you to look into those fires. Your home, your comfort is in the water. I understand this. I understand the connection you have, the flow, the cleansing, the gentleness, and water is but a beautiful energy. But for you, my dear, I must take you to the fire. I am the goddess of the first fire. I am she who brings forth the light by which the creation is made. I am she who allows the light from the stars to move into the earth and be sparked into something magical. I am she who reflects back those fragments of the divine, of the Christed, of the consciousness within you, and allows all of this to warm, to grow, to fuse together within you. My name is Ba. You will not have heard of me, perhaps. Many now have not. You may not even recognize me as I speak, but know that I am with you. Know that I am within you. Know that I call you forth to sit around a fire and speak with these oldest and most ancient energies, and with all that they arise within you. I ask the channel now to work with the solar plexus energy within you. There is a dance that goes on in this part of the body, a dance that requires a calming, a soothing. There is a dance that requires a fusing together of the aspects of the self. We must bring together the ancestral energies. We must bring together the soul energies. We must find a point where you existed at one time as both. We must find that point, and we must direct it immediately, connect it immediately to you. For there is a spark of light that exists there which needs to be brought back to the fore of your consciousness now. There is a stuckness that you have been feeling. Only you can decide how to move through that stuckness. I offer you, though, 2 chances. 1, the opportunity, the possibility of igniting a match and burning that stuckness to the ground. I do not believe this is what you wish. 2, the opportunity of striking a match and by the light of that fire looking at it, looking at the stuckness from every angle and asking which way to move now. As a goddess of the fire, I am often seen as furious. I am often seen as ferocious, as dangerous, as overwhelming. Yet what if this was a different perspective? What if we were to remember that it is fire that warms, it is fire that illuminates, it is fire that supports us to move forwards, that without fire would be no life. That fire is how humankind has survived for so long and so well. See the fire not as one that blazes out of control, but as a torch that can be held aloft and followed. Recognize yourself as the holder of that torch, as the provider of a safe and warm environment, as the goddess yourself of the hearth. my dear one. But recognize yourself also of the holder of the torch that moves forward as she who illuminates the path for others. Once you recognize yourself in that place of luminaire, the path ahead will become more recognizable to you. I place upon your head the crown of flames. Be not afraid, for I recognize that such a thing to a human mind is worrisome. But I place upon your head the crown of flames, for that is a power which is to be called upon within and around you. See yourself with that crown of flames. See yourself as that queen of flames for all that they are, and know that I, the first goddess of the fire here on earth, that I, Bach, I am with you. I stand by you and I hand you the torch now and always. Go forth. I thank you. Bear with me, I'm just going to have a drink. I'll be back to you in a sec.